Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 28th of February 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this last February's day today. So welcome everyone. Welcome to this afternoon session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now, I do have quite a few actually instruments that I would like to quickly cover with you here, guys. But so I'll try to kind of, in a way, let's say fly through them a little bit, but I just wanted to kind of show you what's happening on all of them. But looking at the FTSE MIB here, today we had a nice push higher here, strong push, managed to get back above its pivot, and managed to get towards its key area of resistance here near the 20,600 level. Now, just to kind of show you what that level was in the past, you can see how well it played as a temporary area of support here back on the 4th of October. Also, it played its role as a resistance here on the 2nd of October, and also in the end of September. Also, kind of was the area where it kind of held the price from dropping lower, of course temporarily, but still, nevertheless, this is where the kind of the holdup occurred around this 20,600 level. So we saw this the index trading around a little bit, and until kind of it decided to travel lower here from this level. But again, you can see now it managed to reach it. So it's currently testing it, it's currently balancing around it. It's just built between the R1 and R2, today's R1 and R2, of course. So let's see where this day is going to end, because if this is going to end a little bit lower here, then still, to be honest, still fine, still looking bullish. We could see this one traveling further up here to the upside later on, or should I say maybe tomorrow actually. So the next potential target that we've got in mind here is the 20,850 level, approximately there. Now, but again, we would like to see a nice good push away from the 20,600 level first before we can could kind of target this 20,850 level. On the downside, well, for us, probably we would take a bit of a more of a conservative approach here and wait until this gets below the 20,350 level now, or 350 or 345, but only then basically we will target slightly lower levels. But we could then see this one sliding further down towards the 20,140 level, which played it as a nice roll of support here back on the around the 19th of February, but slightly below that we do have this tentative upside support line that's running from the low of the 2nd of January. So this could also kind of hold the price from dropping lower. But again, in order to kind of consider the downside here, we would like to see a nice drop below the 20,345 level. Now, I do understand it's quite a bit of a far move, but to be honest, it would be something of a cautious move here, because like I said, it could, if the index could probably slide lower here, but if it rebounds from this level again, from the 20,345, then yep, it could reverse and push higher again. So that's why we are looking for the downside. We are looking at this level here, 20,345 zone, approximately there. So keep your eyes on that one. But of course, for now, we're more bullish than bearish, and the next potential target, I'll repeat myself, the next potential target we're keeping a close eye on here is the 850 level, approximately there. Jumping into euro dollar now. With this one, it's a very tricky one, at the same time annoying. Now, I was talking about this one this morning, and we were trading around here. We were still trading below this upside support line, in a way tentative one, but still kind of below it. But and also, of course, below the 114 level. So today we saw a nice push above it, and it managed to reach its R2, which is around the 114.20 zone. But when the US GDP preliminary numbers came out, then you can see that the dollar strengthened and pushed the euro dollar back down again, back below the 114 level, and of course below this upside support line. So for now, of course, we're still going to remain somewhat more neutral. We're just going to continue observing this. For us, we would like to, in order to kind of consider further acceleration to the upside, we would like to see a daily candle closing above the 114 level, and only then we will target slightly higher levels. In terms of the downside, well, a nice good break below the 113.65 level here could be that gateway towards a little bit of lower levels here, where, for example, we could target the 113.25 then. So you can see that how well this area here around the 113.25 played out. It acted as a good area of support, and before that it was resistance. So that's why, guys, for now, be very cautious, be very careful with this one. And keep your eyes on these levels. On the upside is the 114, on the downside is the 113.65. Jumping here to euro dollar. Now with the euro dollar, we here on TradingView we post every day some of our different ideas that we've got, and just quick shout outs basically. And this was the first well, the one that we've posted today, the first one, and that was around the EURJPY, and you can see it was still trading below this 126.30 level. Now we've made a call here. If this gets broken, if the 126.30 level gets broken, we could see this one traveling further up. And of course, now we can see that the pair managed to break that to the upside, and now it's currently sitting near the R1, maybe just slightly below it, but still above the 126.30. Now of course we're going to continue observing this level. If this suddenly decides to drop back down below it and closes the daily candle below this, I mean, we could see maybe a bit of a correction here to the downside towards this upside support line that has been running from the lows of the 3rd of January, and we could see maybe a slide here, but of course all the action would come in next to this line. We'll have to just keep on monitoring it and see if it wants to rebound or not, but that's in the scenario if we get a drop below the 126.30 level. So keep your eyes on that one. Keep your eyes on today on this level. Let's see what it wants to do with it. If it wants to continue traveling further up here, that's wonderful, but if it wants to break it break back below it, then yep, be very cautious with the upside, as we could see maybe a bit of a correction here to the downside. Jumping into GBPCHF now, this is very interesting, and basically the Swiss franc is today so far is the strongest one, and among all the other top currencies, and you can see it as well represented here in GBPCHF. So GBP is on the weaker side as well, but well, not as well, but is on the weaker side, but still not the weakest one. So but the CHF is the strongest one, and you can see that this move here caused GBPCHF to travel all the way towards the S2, which is around the 131.96 level approximately there. From which it kind of rebounded. So now basically this is what we've got in our heads. If this decides to reverse back up here and travels towards the 132.85 and fails, let's say, to drive above the 132.85 level, well, we could be potentially looking here at a something of a head and shoulders formation. But of course, it's very too early. This is just pure speculation here, guys. So don't really take my word on it. Just kind of keep this idea in your head. We could see something like this happening if the pair fails to travel back above the 132.85 level. So keep your eyes on this one. Could be quite interesting. You can see that we are still trading above this in a way tentative upside support line taken from the lows of the 2nd of January here, but the pair is quite extended, like quite far away from this line. So in a way we could see this one traveling further down, maybe at a later stage, but for now guys, be very cautious with this one. Like I said, we could see maybe a bit of a correction here, but if we do see something like that, then we are going to be keeping a close eye on the 132.85 level. If this pair decides to travel back above this, or should I say initially towards the recent highs here near the 133.30, and then decides to break that, then well, I mean, this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could then target the 133.60 or even higher. Now the 133.60 level, now I need to kind of scroll back here, way back into history, just to kind of show you how well this played as a nice area of support back in May here, in the end of May, around the 21st of May in 2018. So yep, and also kind of played a good role of being a nice area of support in the end of March the same year. So basically that's going to be our first target that we're going to be keeping a close eye on, the 133.60, but only in the scenario if we see this pair traveling back above the 133.30 level. So for now it seems, yep, you can see that the Swiss franc is strong, but if it starts losing its a strong position today, then we could see maybe this one reversing slightly back to the upside here and retesting the 132.85 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. GBP Aussie, now this one, well, this is a bit stagnant here. So both of the currencies are kind of let's say are flat today, and looking at this overall, and I've mentioned this in in a few of my previous videos where I was covering GBP Aussie, we're still within this rising channel formation, and basically you can see that how well it is escalated here to the upside. We still have some room on the upside in order to kind of potentially reach this upper bound, but again, don't forget that we're quite overextended here on from the very short term perspective. So in a way we could see maybe a bit of a correction here to the downside, and then of course we'll just take it from there. But for now, certainly we are slightly more bullish than bearish, and if we start seeing a push above these highs, above the yesterday's highs, which were around the 186.96 level approximately there, or even actually you could round it up towards the 187, a nice good push above the 187 could open the path towards the upper side of this rising channel formation. So for now, guys, be very cautious with this one. If this decides to drop below the below this 185.60 level, and just kind of remind you what that level was, the 185.60 was seen as a nice area of resistance here back on in October, back on the 16th of October last year. So it played the role of resistance. So now this level could play the role of support, but if this fails to withhold, then yep, further declines could be possible here. But let's see what it wants to do for now. Let's see where it wants to travel, because at the moment we're just gonna observe the price action, because it's kind of really flat right now. NZDCAD, now New Zealand dollar is on the weaker side today. So I was covering this one as well in one of my previous videos. I was talking about this little range that the pair is trading in, between the 0.8915 on the downside and the 0.9110 on the upside. Today it tried to make a push higher. It reached its pivot, found resistance, and then kind of sold off from there, and now it's testing this little tentative upside support line. Now, I mean, we could slightly adjust it actually to capture this little low here. So basically in that case, well, it's actually not reaching it right now, but it's getting closer to it. So that's why, guys, keep a close eye on it. It's, like I said, it's a bit of a tentative one, so don't rely too much on it. Basically what you could rely here is on this little low, the yesterday's low at around 0.8980 level. Now a nice good drop below the 0.8980 could open the path towards slightly lower levels, and we could then target this area right here around 0.8946 area, something like that, marked by the lows of the 22nd of February. Or even in that case, we could see this one traveling further down towards the lower bound of this range. But again, in order to kind of consider all these lower levels here, first we need to see a nice good drop, not only below this, not only below this tentative upside support line, but also below the 0.8980 level. So keep your eyes on that one. In terms of the upside, well, I mean, if this decides to travel back above the pivot here, or even actually back above the 0.9030 level, this is where it could become a little bit more interesting, because we could then target the 0.9060, and if that fails to withhold, now we could be seeing this one traveling back towards the upper side of this range. So, but for now, of course, the upside is slightly off the table. So yep, let's see what it wants to do with the this key area of support first. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's USDCAD. Now, USDCAD was pushing nicely here to the upside today. Managed to reach its R2 around the 132.80 zone, something like that. So 132.08 zone. So of course, from now it's retracing lower. For now, of course, we're going to just continue observing this one, because you can see that it managed to rebound nicely from this upside support line. And I was covering this in one of my videos this week. Basically, I was covering the USDCAD, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this upside support line that has been running here for quite a while. It's a long-term one, and that has been running from around the end of January, beginning of February last year. So that's why, guys, continue observing it, continue monitoring it, because like I said, it seems to be quite an important one right now. At the moment, we're gonna be somewhat a little bit more neutral, let's put it that way, because to be honest, looking at this price action, it's a bit sideways. And for us, let's say now, to get more comfortable with the upside, we would like to see a nice good push above the 132.40 43 area, something like that, approximately there, and only then we will target higher levels, at least maybe towards the 133.30 level mark, near the highs of the of February. But for now, you can see that it's kind of moving sideways. So in terms of the downside, well, again, we're going to probably take a more conservative approach here and wait until we see a drop below the 131.20 level, and only then we will get comfortable with lower levels, because this little area right now, it's a bit of a tricky one. So that's why for now, probably just going to continue observing this one, but keep our eyes on these key areas here. On the upside is the 132.43 area, approximately there, and on the downside is the 131.20. Okay guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. If you want to join me tomorrow morning at my Trader's Espresso, and that's 7 o'clock GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.